So let me ask you this, and I'm gonna start with Ty, ladies first. So Ty, I'm not sure how in depth you are in politics, but you'll definitely let us know. So let me ask you this, and this is just an honest question. Do you think that African Americans are respectfully in a position to be able to free ourselves of the economic oppression that exists, the injustice that exists, just overall, being that all we've been through? Do you respectfully think, from a logical point, a logical state of view,
Mm-hmm.
that we can get out of this, no matter how we fight it, whether it's economically, fisticuffs, or whatever? What's your thoughts on that?
So logically, I would say yes, it is possible, right? The issue though with Black Americans is the mindset. We still have a crab in the barrel mindset where we don't think about the community, we think about how we can get out of a situation. And once we get out of that situation, we're not really looking to bring up everyone else, right? Because what we've learned in our communities is that everyone doesn't have the same mindset. You're sitting here asking me this question, and the way that I'm answering it, someone else would answer it totally different, right? Because they have a different perspective, a different background, different education. So logically, yes, we actually could. If we could all get on the same page and band together, just like the Africans are doing, and stand up against what society has decided is our norm, then we could get out of it. But realistically, no, we're just not there yet. It would take way more work, way more dedication. And to be honest, it also may actually take for us to get rid of some people, for us to actually make that a reality.
Good answer. So let me ask some expound on it. This is kind of a secondhand question. So do you think it's possible for any group of people to be able to overcome being the minority, as far as from an economic standpoint, um, when we actually don't really have land to call our own anymore?
So, yes, because we can get land, right? It's so many resources out there. Black people specifically touch so much money, right? So much credit. We're constantly buying things that hold no value. If we decided to take all of our money and put it towards just buying up land, we could buy up most of America if we're being honest. Black people are some of the largest consumers out here. If we just decided to boycott most companies, they would fall, right? Because we spend the most money, especially Black women, if we're really being honest. But instead of doing that, we don't buy land. So once again, logically, yes. Yes, we
Got
could because we can start buying land. Right now, I believe in Chicago, there is a woman who had over 120 properties that she owned that is bankrupt. And
it.
they have a list. All of this is public information that you can go in and buy these different lots and homes for a very low cost. But a lot of people, for one, don't know about this information. And then for two, they haven't decided to save up enough of their funds to actually even bid in the game. So we continuously lose out on opportunities where we can take over because our priorities are off. We care more about how
Okay.
we look than what we have.
For real.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's a good answer. That's definitely a good
For
answer.
real.
Uh, I personally think, as much as I'm known to have a positive outlook, I do agree with you. I just think that the amount of unity that it would take for it to happen in an ample enough time,
Mm-hmm.
it's a daunting task. It's a daunting task, especially being that for the first time in our history. And yeah, I want y'all to think about this. For the first time in our history of being here, as far as slavery, this is the first time we've actually digressed. We've progressed all the way. Even in the crack era, we became. Did y'all know that even in the crack era, the percentage of black business ownership went up 20%? Even in
I believe.
even the crack couldn't stop us.
I believe it.
A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, business ownership by blacks jumped 20% in the crack era. So even when they tried to kill us with crack,
yeah,
they
We
couldn't
still-
stop.
We still prosper.
We still prospered.
Yes.
But for
So-
some reason, we digressed.
how, in what ways, and specifically, are you speaking about men versus women, or our entire community has digressed?
Our entire community as a whole.
Yes, community as a whole.
I got a whole equal blame to that. And the
Mhm.
reason why I say that is because, well, you know what, that's a whole nother conversation. That we could talk, yeah. Y'all could guess all the reasons, but that we definitely, I hold blacks as a whole accountable for that. You know, and intentionally and unintentionally.
Okay.
In other words, for example, where our parents, well, I'm gonna say my generation, my parents failed us is that they raised us with the mindset like they wanted us to not know that racism existed. I don't think that was healthy because we had to fuck around and find out.
Nah, for real. Nah, for
They
real.
didn't prepare us. But see, my parents, oh, look at here, you a nigga, son. Now, don't your ass be driving them by after 9 sundown, okay? They'll cut your ass up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just was straight up with them. They didn't appease or try to protect them emotionally from the reality of what could happen.
Right.
Grandma gonna keep it a whole bean in the house. Shit.
Yeah, but
they kept it
because
straight.
they didn't appease is the reason why your parents did appease, right? Because they were giving you something that they felt they needed.
Yeah.
It's just like with our generation. I think mine or the one right after was like the first generation where everybody got an award, whether you win or not. Right? There are no winner or losers anymore.
Exactly.
And in the broader scheme of things, that's a problem. Because you will win or lose in life. There's always a winner or loser. So when you give somebody something just for being there, they always expect something just for coming. And that's not reality.
Gotcha.
You know, but I feel like it's the overcompensation.
Okay.